Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out. This is episode 240. Where does the time go? Well, I hope you're doing great on this first Tech It Out of April. Happy spring, everyone. We have a stellar lineup of guests and topics for you this hour, so let me tell you what's on tap. In a moment, we're going to chat about World Backup Day, which just passed, as a reminder to back up your important files, just in case. And our guest will be Western Digital, one of the leaders in this space. After that, we chat with Dyson about its just announced wearable air purifier, wearable for the outside. Have you heard of this thing? It is no April Fool's joke, I can tell you that. And do we have any Wonder Years fans in the house? Well, I'll catch up with Jason Hervey, who played Wayne on the Wonder Years, and we're going to talk about this new gaming system that looks like a Rubik's Cube, but it has 24 little screens on it. It's called WOWCube. All of this and more on an all-new Tech It Out, powered by Asus for those in search of incredible. I'll tell you more about Asus shortly, but let's officially kick off the show with our first interview. World Backup Day took place this past week on Thursday, March 31st to be exact, which serves as a great reminder to back up your important files, just in case. Any number of things can happen to your devices, like computers, where it's a nasty virus that destroys the drive, or a power surge, or fire, flood, theft, and so on. As the proverb goes, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And so we're going to talk backups now with Brian Pridgeon. He's Director of Marketing at Western Digital, one of the biggest players in this space. Welcome back to the show, Brian.
Thank you so much for having me, Mark.
Always a pleasure. And I'm assuming my listeners know all about Western Digital. You guys are one of the biggest, if not the biggest, storage companies in the country. But before we talk World Backup Day and some solutions that you've got for our listeners, please do remind us who Western Digital is and the different brands that are under your banner.
Western Digital is one of the biggest storage companies on the planet. And many of you will know us from Western Digital. We have a line of internal SSDs that system builders use for PCs, laptops, etc. We also have a line of WD backup products that I'll talk about today. Additionally, we have WD Black. It's a portfolio of gaming solutions designed to optimize the overall gaming experience. That's called WD Black. We have a line of products from SanDisk. And many of you will know the SanDisk USBs, our memory cards, our imaging cards as one of the number one trusted brand in the world. Finally, their SanDisk Professional is really storage that's optimized for 24/7 studio reliability.
All right, so everything from regular consumers to the professional photographers and videographers. And we're going to get to some of those specific solutions in a moment, but let's just chat a bit about World Backup Day. So as I mentioned, it just passed on Thursday. What's it all about?
This is early spring, right? The weather's starting to get warmer, the flowers are starting to bloom, and we all are starting to think about our pending summer vacations. But before we spring forward, we need to make sure that our digital lives are in order. Think about all those pictures, those precious memories, the tax documents, those important personal files. We need to make sure as we spring forward, those documents move forward with us. And I'm going to specifically talk about some tips and techniques to make sure that we're all protected as we move forward.
And World Backup Day is a good reminder of it. And the timing is always at the start of spring. You're spring cleaning your home, perhaps. You should also take a moment with your digital devices and make sure everything's protected, just in case something happens, like I mentioned off the top.
And that's really a good way to think of it, Mark, is spring cleaning. Let me share a few tips. Number one is think about over the last year. The facts show that over the last year, we've all created, consumed, or shared more digital content than ever before. But the key to this whole thing is that what most people don't know is human error is one of the main causes of data loss. So we're going to talk about World Backup Day, but in the context to make sure we can spring forward, move all those important things with us and make sure that the things that are most important to you are properly protected.
So let's talk some solutions that you have, beginning with the MyBook desktop family.
As I said before, we have solutions for all types of consumer needs. And the biggest thing that is kind of confusing to consumers is, hey, should I pick a hard disk drive or an SSD? And hard disk drives, the key there is tremendous amount of capacity. Both these solutions are reliable, whether it's a hard drive or a solid state drive. The real difference comes down to hard drives have huge amounts of capacity. And we'll talk about the MyBook family that's up to 18 terabytes of storage.
Wow.
Yep.
That's so much storage. That's for like those real digital pack rats out there.
So that's for the digital pack rats, but most of us have more digital content than we think of. And don't forget, you can buy one of these 18 terabyte hard drives and back up from multiple devices, right? Just move it around. It's a desktop storage product that you can move around from multiple devices to make sure you have all of that backed up. So again, hard disk drives up to 18 terabytes. And then we have solid state drives. They're known as SSDs. And SSDs, the real difference, both of these solutions are tremendously reliable. The difference comes down to speed. SSDs will be anywhere from 5 to 10 times faster. So if you really want to get it done fast, go with an SSD. If you have a tremendous amount of capacity, go with a hard drive.
Right. Solid state or SSD is great for speed, not just when you're transferring that data, but if you want to have that drive connected to your computer all the time and access information off of it on a regular basis, then an SSD is also ideal. I also like when you take your drive on the go, if you're, traveling again this spring or summer, an SSD is also smaller, lighter, quieter, better on the battery for the laptop because there's no spinning platter. And also it's more durable when you're talking portability because there's no moving parts.
The top portable SSD that I would recommend would be the My Passport SSD. And as you said, Mark, it's small, it's super fast, up to 1,000 megabytes per second. It comes to up to 4 terabytes. But the big game changer for all of these products that we're talking about today is they also come with a backup software that's easy to use. You set it and forget it. When you turn your system on, if you want to back up every day, you can back up every day. If you want to back up once a week, you can back up once a week. And then the other tip that I wanted to leave you with is when you back up, make sure you back it up in multiple locations.
And it's a very relevant tip given all the sort of natural disasters that we're seeing more and more these days, floods and forest fires and hurricanes. If you have a backup, that's great. But if it's in the same room as your primary computer, for example, then that backup solution may be destroyed along with the original. So it's smart to maybe put one in, say, a safety deposit box at a bank, leave it with a trusted relative at their place. And you can also password protect it if you like. Just the trick is to keep it somewhere else from your original drive so that you're hedging your bets, so to speak. Now, these solutions, are they for Windows users primarily? What about those who use Macs or Chromebook?
Yeah, then that's the nice thing about it. These are all universal solutions. And speaking of Chromebooks, we have a special product that we designed and optimized specifically for Chromebooks called the WD Drive for Chromebook, and it's in 2 terabytes.
We are chatting with Brian Pridgeon, Director of Marketing at Western Digital. We're chatting World Backup Day, which took place on Thursday, March 31st, as a great reminder to back up your important files before it's too late. All right, MyBook desktop drive family. Usually a desktop drive is something that you have to plug into the wall, whereas a portable hard drive does not require external power. It gets it from the computer itself.
Yeah, that's really the advantage of these portable solutions.
For the My Desktop drive, how much do they start at?
The My Desktop drives are up to 18 terabytes, and you're looking at a little bit over $350 for 18 terabytes, which is a really economical price point for that much storage.
And you're not paying a monthly subscription as you would be for a cloud account as well.
Yeah, that's the real big benefit about these storage devices is that they're yours, right? It's all about your secure, private content, and it's your data. A cloud, by the way, is one option if that's the direction you choose to go. But what we're talking about is something that is more immediate. It's something that you own.
And for as low as $59, if I'm not mistaken, and you can get like a 1 or 2 terabyte drive, which might be enough for you. But I love that it goes all the way up to 18 now for an HDD and hard disk drive. Let's just chat a bit more though, Brian, before I let you go, about the My Passport SSD. So solid state, they're really small, so it has those benefits we chatted about earlier.
Absolutely. And one of the things that to remember when it comes to picking a portable SSD is we've really put a lot of thought into the design of the product. Number one, we do want to make it small, but we also want to make it kind of appealing from the style and design. So I would advise everyone to go to our website, westerndigital.com, take a look at My Passport SSD, and you can see we make them with multiple colors. It's in a metal enclosure as well. So we really did take in the aesthetic to what the product looks like, not just the feeds and speeds. We're going to give you those feeds and speeds, by the way. Speed is everything when it comes to SSDs, but we also know that style is really important.
And you said the configurations, the storage goes up to 4 terabytes for an SSD or solid state drive. And I think they start at 500 gigs or half a terabyte. How much do the prices start at?
From a 500 gigabyte, you're looking at about $100 price point, and they range all the way up to over 500 for the 4 terabyte.
Lots to learn about there at westerndigital.com, and I know you're active on social media as well. Brian, always great to chat with you. I hope you have a great spring, and thanks for chatting with us about World Backup Day.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Speaking of backups, this show is powered by ASUS for those in search of incredible. ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life, and that includes its line of award-winning laptops like ZenBooks and VivoBooks. Check them all out at asus.com/US/radio. That's asus.com/US/radio. When we return, we're going to chat with Dyson about its wearable air purifier. Wearable, I kid you not. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Tech It Out. Dyson and its savvy team of engineers may be best known for vacuum cleaners, hair and hand dryers, air purifiers, and humidifiers. But 2022 marks the year they've announced their very first wearable device called Dyson Zone, coming in a few months from now. And it's tied to air quality outside of the home. Joining us to explain what it is, who it's for, and how it works is Tom Bennett, Head of Product Development for Wearables at Dyson in the UK, who we've reached today across the pond. Thank you for your time, Tom.
Hi, Mark. No worries. Nice to meet you.
All right. Now, before we talk about the solution, let's hear what the problem is. What's wrong with the air that we breathe?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. So Dyson, as a company, as a technology company, we've been obsessed with air quality and sources of pollution and urban pollution for years now. Ever since we first launched the purifying fans and the air purifiers around 6 years ago, we've been spending a huge amount of effort, our research teams and our product development teams, to understand the problem of air pollution. And up until now, it's really been around indoor pollution and how we can help provide solutions to make that environment more comfortable and make that environment better to breathe. And it's really over the last 5-6 years when we've been developing the Dyson Zone that we got to looking at air outside the home and outside buildings and in the cities and urban environments. And what we found was that there's a huge problem, right, in built-up urban environments all over the world. Regardless of the country, combustion engines and buses and power stations and hundreds of sources of pollution kind of really feed into the environment and create quite a bad air pollution problem. Steps are being taken by governments around the world to improve it, but that's kind of a really long process. It's going to take many years to fix at source. So we kind of settled on, or kind of homed in on, this problem of air pollution out in the environment. And we wanted to fix that problem. We wanted to bring people the Dyson purified air anywhere with them on the move.
All right. So with that in mind, tell us about Dyson Zone. And you have been working on this for several years, right?
That's right. Yeah, it's been several years in the making. 5 or 6 years is how long we've been developing this product in particular. But as I said, our kind of efforts into understanding air pollution have been going on much longer than that. And so what we've done with the Dyson Zone is we've taken our expertise in particulate filtration, in gaseous filtration, in air movement and compressor design, and in acoustics and acoustic engineering. And we've shrunk all that technology down into a format that can be worn on your head in the form of a pair of headphones, really high fidelity, good quality headphones that through a non-contact visor deliver purified air to you anywhere on the move. The interesting thing is we've developed a new filter technology, so we're using electrostatic filters this time around. They allow us to purify the air down to 99% of PM.1. So that means that we can remove 99% of particulates that are as small as 1 micron.
Wow. All right. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to explain what it looks like. You did say it's kind of like a set of over-the-ear headphones and how it works exactly with the filtration system that you've got. But just to confirm, this is Dyson's first wearable, right? After all these years, I know that you've got, of course, stationary devices. You've got handheld ones, too, like hair dryers that my wife loves. and this is the first one that you would actually wear outside of your house from the company.
Yeah, that's right. This is our first wearable. Wow. So it's really exciting, and it's another. We firmly believe, it's another game-changing moment for us, and it's another. It's a first wearable, but it's also a brand new category, right? So this category of products has never existed in the world before.
Right,
so,
and folding in acoustics too, as you said. So this is like a set of headphones. Can you maybe elaborate a bit more on what it would look like? You said you were able to compress a lot of these technologies down in size, so you're not wearing this big bulky thing.
Yeah, sure. So if you imagine a set of conventional headphones where you've got the speaker drivers, one in each ear cup. So we have that. We also have then a compressor. So that's a motor in each ear cup. And on top of that is a filter. That's the electrostatic and activated carbon filter. And we've packed also into those ear cups all the driver electronics and the Bluetooth connectivity, and also some sensors in there that monitor the environment. So all that tech's packed into the ear cups. We've put the batteries in the headband, and that's to allow us to distribute the weight around the headset and maintain the center of gravity. So the center of gravity of the headset is the same as the center of gravity of the wearer's head. So that means it's really stable. You can move your head around, and it doesn't move around on your head. And then on the front, we clip the non-contact visor, and that's the really novel, clever part. So through that visor, the air that's been pulled in by those compressors, pulled through the filters, is projected through the visor around the nose and the mouth, so that what we call the breathing zone. We've created this kind of pocket of purified clean air. Now, when you see the product, you'll see there's a mesh in there. And what that does is that slows down the speed of the air and allows it to kind of stay in the breathing zone. The visor is designed so it can adjust to multiple head sizes. So we've worked with over 3,000, actually. We made, in rapid prototyping, over 3,000 different head forms that represent a full distribution of the heads that we find in the world. Obviously, we can't test on 7 billion heads, and we are all unique, but we tested on a sample set that represents full distribution. So we introduced also an adjustment mechanism in the visor and a whole bunch of flexibility in the visor that means it can adjust and fit to any head size.
I was privy to a virtual demonstration of this along with many other journalists from around the world, and I was able to see sort of in the labs at Dyson in the UK all the different prototypes and all that. That was kind of neat.
Great, yeah.
More with Tom Bennett from Dyson about the Dyson Zone wearable air purifier when we return. This is no April Fool's joke. Stick with us. We're going to learn more about it when we return.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. We are chatting with Tom Bennett, head of product development for wearables at Dyson. We're learning all about the Dyson Zone, just announced around the world, a first of its kind for air quality outside of your home. Now, Tom, you've been saying the word visor a couple of times, but to be clear, there obviously, since this is about air filtration, there is something that goes over your mouth or nose. Can you explain that part? And did you say it was removable?
Yeah, that's right. So we call it the visor. It's a non-contact visor. It's removable. Yeah, so it's actually it's got a bunch of neat features built in. So There's magnets in the visor that allow it to clip into the headphones and snap into the headphones. So you could be using the headphones as just a regular set of headphones, listening to music, listening to podcasts, say in the office. And then if you're popping outside, you can clip the visor in place. That will snap onto the headphones. The motors will automatically start, and that will start kind of receiving the purified air from through the filters.
Now, again, the word visor implies vision, but there's nothing that covers the eyes.
Oh, I see. No, we call the visor. The visor is the part that wraps around the nose and the mouth.
It was the word that threw me off, because when I saw the demo, I thought it was just covering the mouth and nose. Okay.
That's right. I mean, it's a bit of a...
Thanks for the clarification. Yeah. Can you quantify, Tom, how well it works, based on your studies? You did say it cleans what was it, 99% of some of the air pollutants, the air particles?
Yeah, no, that's right. So the ultrastatic filter media combined with the compressors that removes 99% of particulate as small as PM.1.
Are there filters that we need to change or clean over time, like you would a regular, say, air purifier?
Yep, there are. So in each ear cup, there's a filter. Combined particulate and gas filter. The really clever thing is that when you connect the Dyson Zone to the Dyson Link app, it will know where you are, and it will give you a filter life, and then the app will tell you when you need to replace those filters based on your location and the pollution in that location. It really does depend on where you are. For example, in London, in the UK, it's kind of once a year. If you're in Delhi on a really polluted time of year, you're going to need to change those once every month. Areas of China and kind of more polluted areas are kind of once every 3 months. But as I say, that the app uses something called reverse geolocation to know where you are, or know where the unit is, and then inform you when you need to order replacements.
Got it. And how long do the batteries last?
Before talking about battery life, I think it's important to talk about how the product functions. So we built it in auto mode. So we have an IMU, an inertial movement unit in each ear cup. And what this does is this really kind of it knows when you're moving around, and it knows if you're moving more vigorously, kind of bobbing your head up and down. It translates that into movement and therefore breathing rate. For example, if you're sat still at your desk, the IMU won't be moving, and it'll know your breathing rate is relatively low.
I understand that.
If you're moving around at pace, it'll register that, and that will translate into a higher breathing rate. The product adjusts automatically to those different activity levels. So from a rest mode to a medium mode to a high mode, depending on your activity level.
Sure.
So if you're sat at rest, so if you're sat on a tube or on a train or on a plane, you're going to get 4.5 hours of purification out of the Dyson Zone. And as your activity level increases, the duration will decrease slightly down to around 2 hours in high mode. And if you're just using it as a set of headphones, we have a really quite compelling 40 hours plus runtime for audio and ANC only.
Got it. Now, before we wrap up, Tom, speaking of audio mode, some connectivity features for Bluetooth and taking calls and all that. Can you quickly explain what else you can do with these?
Yeah, sure. So as well as being efficient filtration and high fidelity audio, it's really quite an effective headset. So we've got 11 microphones in total in the product. 2 of these are used for telephony, and they do something called beamforming, where 2 microphones placed close by each other are able to detect where your voice is coming from, and the software is able to lock on to that voice signal and amplify it. And that means that the person on the other end of the phone call gets a really clear, crisp definition in the phone call coming through. So it's actually a really effective headset. It has got full Bluetooth connectivity. It's loaded with codecs, so it can accept a bunch of different audio files and play those back at high fidelity. It uses the same Bluetooth connection to connect to the Dyson Link app, where you can see the feed from your air quality sensors, and it also gives you a feed of the external noise level. So it can kind of show you not only what you're currently being exposed to, it also shows you a historical view of how the Dyson Zone's protected you from that environment, both air pollution and noise.
Are some of those microphones used to also cancel out any noise that the actual Dyson Zone makes by filtering the air?
That's right, yeah. So actually that's where a lot of the engineering effort went to on the audio side.
Yeah, because the product can work great, but if it's loud, no one's going to want to wear it.
Exactly. And that, and to be honest with you, Mark, that was a kind of about a 12-month period of the project in 2020, where we were looking at perfecting the details of that.
Okay, Tom, so when will Dyson Zone be available? And for pricing, I don't think you've announced it yet, but is there a website that you would recommend?
Yeah, sure. So this is the technology announcement, and details on launch is going to come later in the year. In America, that'd be Dyson.com.
Okay, Dyson.com. Very exciting stuff. Tom Bennett, thank you very much for joining us.
It's a real pleasure to be able to talk to people about Dyson Zone. It's been a real passion project for a lot of people for a long time. So thank you again.
Hey, anyone remember the show The Wonder Years? Well, I'm going to be chatting after this short break with Jason Hervey, who played Wayne, the brother you love to hate, on The Wonder Years. We're going to chat with him after this short break about this new gaming system called WOWCube. It looks like a Rubik's Cube, but it's got 24 little screens on it, so it fuses the puzzle mechanics that you're familiar with, rotating those little pieces, but also with video games. Really cool stuff that's coming up after this short break. You are listening to Tech It Out. I'm your host, Mark Saltzman. Thank you to ASUS, the title sponsor on this program, for your ongoing support. ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life, and that includes its line of award-winning laptops like their ZenBooks, their VivoBooks, Chromebooks, Studio Books, and Expert Books. Visit asus.com/US/radio for more info. That's asus.com, pronounced ASUS, /US/radio. Jason Hervey from The Wonder Years and many other TV shows and movies when we return to chat with us about the WOWCube gaming system. Stick with us for more Tech It Out on the Radio America Network.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Tech It Out. What do you get when you combine a classic handheld puzzle with rotating pieces, like a Rubik's Cube, with the thrill of video games? Well, the answer may be the new WOWCube gaming system. And we have a special guest to chat with us about it. We're joined by Jason Hervey, who wears multiple hats in the entertainment space, but you may know him best as Wayne Arnold, the brother you love to hate, from The Wonder Years. Welcome, Jason. Thanks for your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you. The brother you love to hate. I love it.
I know you mentioned that in a recent Reddit chat that you had, and I know you've been busy. So before we talk WOWCube, what are you working on? I know you were in a Hallmark movie last year as well.
Yeah, so I dusted off the old acting hat, put that on for a minute as a favor to Danica McKellar and the Hallmark Channel for Yumi and the Christmas trees, and that was a lot of fun. Had a great time filming that up in Canada.
Sweet.
And it was a lot of fun. On the business side, I'm actually pretty soon formally announcing the formation of my marketing company called Marathon OH, which is a venture between myself, Napoleon Smith, executive producer of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies with Michael Bay, as well as OH Partners, which is one of the fastest growing ad agencies in the U.S., and my partner, Scott Harkey. And we are having a blast, especially with one of our partners, the Elon Goat token in the cryptocurrency space. We're building a $600,000 monument as a present to Elon Musk that we're going to be delivering to Tesla headquarters. So
Awesome.
we're doing all kinds of really fun things, but nothing more fun than the WOWCube. And I'm so glad that you took an interest in that.
Yeah. Why don't you talk to us about it? What is this all about? So I kind of described it off the top. I know it's not from the same company that makes Rubik's Cube. So maybe you can talk to us a bit about it.
Yeah. So, first of all, this is something that has never existed before. We added a computer interface to pretty much the most well-known puzzle game in the world, being Rubik's Cube, sold over 450 million million units worldwide. So you can actually physically change the geometry of the screen during the gameplay. And it's comprised of 24 separate screens that work simultaneously. So you play really both in the physical and virtual reality at the same time. As I like to say, it's gaming in the fourth dimension.
I like that. And there are tie-ins with mobile games like Cut the Rope, right? I mean, talk to us maybe about some of the games that you can play on this one device.
Sure. So yes, we do have, and literally we're adding more licensed games all the time. But yeah, you mentioned Cut Rope, or we have Space Invaders. We've definitely improved upon those games by adding the physical dimension. For example, okay, with Space Invaders, just one twist and that can send an enemy to a remote part of the universe, right? It's really a new level of strategic thinking. The cubicle form makes it possible to really split the enemy's fleet by distance and shoot the invaders one by one. And, with Cut Rope, you actually physically cut the rope by twisting the cube.
So like a Rubik's Cube, it's got pieces that you can rotate with your hand, so physically. But as you said,
right,
each side has several different little screens on it. And there's no buttons. I've had a chance to play around with this, and that kind of blew me away. How do you navigate around the different games?
There's the icon that that lights up when you're choosing which game or interface, because your phone syncs to our store, and that's where you could get different games, apps, all kinds of stuff. The interesting part about it, to your point, yes, there are no buttons, but we do have a tap screen.
Right.
So you take the cursor, the icon, whatever you want to call it, put it on whatever game or app you want, and then you just tap it twice. And then, you become immersed in whatever it is that you just tapped on.
If this voice sounds familiar, it is Jason Hervey. He's otherwise known as Wayne Arnold from the Wonder Years, but he's got a lot more accolades after that show from the late 80s and early 90s. He's also partnered with WOWCube gaming system. This is a handheld puzzle game like a Rubik's Cube, if you think of that shape, but it's got, did you say 24 different screens on it?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So 4 screens, 6 sides, and there's lots of games that you can play on this thing. And Jason, I realize that a lot of people love the fidgety component to this, like a fidget cube, if you know what I'm talking about. People who just feel a bit restless and they want to do something with their hands. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. And I first saw the fidget spinner because my son Sam was playing with one. And I was like, what is that? But you're right. Just as humans, physical need for grasping or fidgeting anything from bead, pencils, different trinkets, that are made, popular today, including the fidget spinner.
Sure.
I think, people like to be engaged in something, and fidget really is the right word, and they love it if something is responsive, interactive. And I think that's certainly one of the reasons for the smartphone's popularity, besides obviously talking and texting. But yeah, once you put it in your hand, it's fun to play with. It's fun to twist it. It's fun to turn it. And going back to the 24 screens, they operate autonomously as well as simultaneously. So you could have 24 individual pictures, but yet they can all kind of band together to make one big picture. So it's really unique. And we have a portfolio of patents actually globally that cover that.
When we return, more with Jason Hervey. He's of course an actor, director, and he's also working with the WOWCube folks to help launch this handheld puzzle and gaming platform in one. It looks like a Rubik's Cube, but with 24 different screens. We'll be right back to learn more about it. Stick with us.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
You may know him best as Wayne in The Wonder Years, but we are chatting with Jason Hervey. He's an accomplished actor and director, and he's also working with the WOWCube, folks. This is a handheld device that may resemble a Rubik's Cube at first glance, but it has 24 little screens on it. And when you rotate the pieces and tilt it and all that, you can play various video games on it. And there's even other applications as well. Now, before the break, Jason, you were talking to us about some of the versatility of this cube and where it may be going in the future.
Yeah. So, we think there's going to be more iterations of the cube, and maybe even, taking two of them and creating the world's first digital dice gameplay. You can imagine that, with Dungeons and Dragons, and how much more you could be immersed, in the gameplay and deciding the fate of your character by the spin of these digital dice. Mm-hmm. So it's really something that we're super excited about, not just where we're at, but where we're going to go.
Awesome. And speaking of which, I was going to ask you about the companion app, but you already mentioned that's how you can manage the games that you play on the WOWCube. It's all done through the WOWCube app, and also mentioned that they're releasing new games over time. There's a built-in store in the app as well. So when will WOWCube be available, and for how much? Yeah, so the app is currently available in both the iOS and the Android store. And yes, it is made to, upload new games and apps and things like that within the store. But what we've also done is we've created our own SDK, and we're making that public. So that allows third-party game developers, to really create their own games that they want to see. So we're kind of, this large scale creative collaboration portal that's going to unlock, we think, some amazing creativity. That's awesome. Yeah, I called it earlier the WOWCube gaming system, and that does imply that people can create content for it.
Yeah, and to answer your question, our pre-order campaign starts in April. The base price for the cube is $259, and that's kind of like an early bird special. But what I will tell you, and you're going to be the first to hear this, and there will be a separate major announcement coming with the WOWCube and a collaboration partner, that is absolutely a household name within the gaming space. And I would not be surprised if the cube came out as an NFT as well.
A non-fungible token, which we covered last week in this show, as we have over the last year or so. Okay, so you've piqued my interest. Is there a website where we can learn more about WOWCube and keep up on all the announcements?
Absolutely. WOWCube.com.
All right. WOWCube.com, just as it sounds. Jason Hervey, great to chat with you. Been a fan of your work for several years, so it's a kick to chat with you on the phone. All the best. Thanks for your time.
Not as mean in person, right?
Very funny. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Mike.
And hey, thank you for tuning in to Tech It Out this hour. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you're on social media, be sure to drop by and say hi. Let me know what you're up to, what tech questions you may have, any feedback on the show, including any guests or topics you'd like me to tackle going forward. I'll spell my name in a moment, but I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. It's Mark Saltzman. Mark with a C, Saltzman with a Z. I also write a tech tip of the day, how to get more out of your tech to save you time, money, or aggravation. For example, I posted a video last week. It was a time-saving iPhone hack where you can use your phone's camera to copy and paste text into your phone, like into a notes section, and you don't have to do anything other than launch the camera and it reads the text. Like, for example, if you see a recipe in a friend's cookbook, just take out your phone and I show you how you can just scan the words and it gets imported as a note, which is really neat. So I show this in a 50-second video. I also link to articles that I write. There's contests, giveaways, gadget reviews, and so on and so forth. A huge thank you to Asus for supporting the show, as you've heard me talk about this hour, as well as Western Digital. They're also a fantastic partner on Tech It Out, and they have been for a couple of years now. The show will be 5 years old in July, so a little 5th anniversary celebration coming up with some giveaways. And thank you to Radio America for syndicating this program, posting it as a podcast, and helping to produce it all as well. Oh, speaking of which, before we wrap up, welcome to AM 570, The Answer. That's WWRC in Washington, D.C., the latest station to take the Tech It Out show every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Welcome, everyone, if you're tuning in, and I look forward to hearing from you online. Again, it's Mark Saltzman, Mark with a C, Saltzman with a Z. Let me know what you think of this show. Happy spring, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in to Tech It Out. Have a great rest of your day, a stellar week ahead. And I look forward to catching up with you next weekend, where we'll have 4 guests covering everything from the latest in online dating apps to protecting your gear while you're traveling, how to spring clean and sell your stuff on Amazon, and a lot more. All right, everyone. Ciao for now.